put out there. Um, what people need to understand about what happened that day when Chris called the police and said that I had barricaded myself in the boys' bedroom and I had knives and I was threatening to kill myself. Um, I recorded the whole thing. I had uploaded a lot of videos, a lot of them are still up. There's one that my son uploaded that I made him delete that I really wish I hadn't of now, but I recorded the whole event. You can go to my, and if you go to my videos from June 2022, I document the whole thing. And I discuss about how my son had brought weapons into the room. Because what happened was, just prior to all of this, some African boys got attacked at the back of my ex's house, and I jumped in to do first aid. And apparently, from what the police had said, like I saved their lives. And because Chris used to lock us up in the house and go away, and basically feed us food through the door, oh, I can't believe that it's just he told me that the job centre had told him, or Citizens Advice or whatever had told him, that I didn't qualify for government assistance because I lived with him and I believed him. Had I have known, I could have, you know, got us out and got on government assistance just until I could get the lawyers involved in all of that. I would have done it a long time ago, the shoulda, woulda, couldas. So, yeah, because I became the main witness, I took photos. I had a photo of the attackers. I had a photo of the knife that suddenly vanished, and I had photos of the crime scenes and that before the cops got there. Because I grabbed my phone, I went to take a video, but accidentally took a photo. And then when the boy sat up and reached out to me and said, please help me," my mum instincts kicked in, and I was there, and I was holding his guts in and trying to stop the other one from crawling away with his foot hanging on by a thread and all of that. And it was actually my son's, because everybody just stood around, nobody helped. And it was my sons that were bringing me tea towels and paper towels. And, you know, after it happened, they came into the bedroom and they said that watching me in action, they said, um, was the coolest thing they'd ever seen. They said that I was like Wonder Woman. They said they were like so proud of me, how I dealt with everything. But because I witnessed everything, I was like the main witness in an attempted murder case. And when he started going away and locking us inside after that happened, I was scared if they were going to come to the house and I had no protection. So Chris gave me a crowbar and a little knife. And he said, like, use this. I couldn't lift the crowbar. It was too heavy for me. But I had the knife thing strung over my bed. And when everything kicked off and I knew that he had put cocaine in my pizza and that there was something in the weed, because when I lit it, like the flame, it was like a giant blue flame. When I knew he'd done something, because he threw the pizza and said, I've got to go, and ran down the stairs so fast, he like put a hole in the wall. The evidence is all there. It was him acting weird like that that made me realise he'd done something. It took me a while to figure it out because I didn't realise he'd been slowly drugging me for quite a while. I don't know what he was planning to do that night, but I knew that he was expecting something bad to happen. And with all those drugs in my system, I panicked. So I locked everything up and I said to him, I know what you've done. And I blocked him and deleted him and stuff like that. And I said to the boys, he's done something. I don't know what he's done, but, blah, blah, blah. And I was trying to remain calm. And because they had control over my phone and our Wi-Fi, because Chris's internet in his room upstairs was hooked up to a completely different Wi-Fi to ours. And we only discovered that because we used to go into his room to watch movies, to sit on the bed together when he'd lock us inside. And we noticed that his one was called Dad's room, and then our one was like, the Wi Fi one. But our one was the one that used to go really, really slow. And I kept saying, like, we've been hacked, it's been controlled, and they weren't letting me upload the videos I was trying to get out. So my son started doing it on his channel. So, we've got videos scattered everywhere. I had cocaine coursing through my veins. I found out later it was cocaine. And opioids. I found out that he had stolen my book. He called it OBOT, which is the clinical term for people who are dealing with opioid addiction. And I used to have to take a lot of opioids because of my spinal disease and because of my stomach, but I went off everything when I lost weight. I didn't have that kind of, like, my arthritis and all that vanished. So I didn't need the pain relief anymore. I have a non-addictive personality. I was diagnosed many, many years ago, like back in New Zealand, with a non-addictive personality when they were deciding whether to put me on morphines or not to deal with my pain for my back. So I was able to stop smoking overnight. I was able to go off sugar overnight. I was able to go off like decades of opioids and morphines and all of that, like, overnight. It's hard for me to get addicted to stuff. And he kept trying to weaken my immune system and that through drugs. And I don't know what he was planning that night, but he was terrified. He ran down the stairs like a bat out of hell, and I didn't know what to expect. I was preparing for anything. That's when I started figuring out the whole Santaro connection, and the one I called Katie, which I thought was that Adelina Bond, but her name ended up being Rebecca. But the woman he was saying, Katie, like the one that he introduced my boys to the night I got locked up, her name's Katie. The one in the photo that my son found, her name's Katie. He gave her the scarf that he gave me when he proposed to me. So my son immediately jumped into action, and all he kept thinking about was, I need to protect my mum and my brother. So he brought those weapons up. And then when my ex came back to the house and acted like nothing had happened, my youngest went and got the crowbar and stood between me and my ex. And I came downstairs, and that's when I called the police, and I said, I believe my ex-husband's done something. I don't know if I've been poisoned or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And she just didn't care. She basically told me to move out. And then, of course, he leaves. He said, I'm going to regret this. And then, like 4 hours, 5 hours later, or whatever it was, he calls the police and says, oh, yeah, I was at the house a few hours ago. She's barricaded in the boys' bedroom. You can't even shut their bedroom door. It's impossible. It doesn't close. And she's got weapons and she's in a distressed state and blah, 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 because I had started figuring everything out, and he panicked. But what people don't understand is that I've got those videos up. You can see clearly I'm discussing everything. My son even brought in a big stick, and I was saying, this is the Māori coming out in him. because he went into, he said to me later on, I was prepared to die, like whatever was going to happen, I would have died to protect my mum and my brother. And Gabriel was the same. He stood between him and his dad with a crowbar, and he pushed me to the side, pushed me behind him. He was not going to let his father get to me. Thomas even said to me once when he was little, I have a feeling I'm going to end up having a confrontation with my dad when I'm a teenager. He said, because of the way that he treats you. So what people don't understand is that when he called the police, he wasn't just calling the police on me, because he knew from watching those videos what Thomas was doing. He knew Thomas had brought the weapons up, and he still called the police. Had the police have done their due diligence and looked at the videos and did the job that they were supposed to do, it would have been Thomas that the cops probably would have taken to the police station. So he was fully prepared to risk getting his own son locked up to cover his lies, to cover the fact that he was doing all this stuff and I'd figured it out, that we'd figured it out. The boys were starting to help me gather evidence. He had to do something to stop them from helping me gather evidence. So he started turning them against me. But the thing is, I know his games, I know his manipulation. And I said to the police when I was questioned, and I said to the police when I was locked up, and I said to the doctors, and I said to the judge, I don't regret a single thing, and I do not blame my son for bringing in those weapons. Judge Campbell even took my side of the argument and said, I do believe your son brought in those weapons. I do believe you're telling the truth. So why was I still locked up then? Because then the doctors kept saying, why did you bring knives in that night? Why were you trying to kill yourself? I was like, I wasn't. And the judge found in my favour. So why were they still bringing it up? Because they were determined to shut me up and shut me down because of the things that I was starting to reveal. The things that I was starting to put out there, they couldn't risk me getting any of it out there because it ended up leading to Starmers, grooming gangs, the whole Pegasus pandemic to kill off the royal monarchy bloodline, the plot to kill the Queen, the Trump Epstein, the Zelensky corruption, the EU von der Leyen corruption, Putin being set up, blah, blah, blah. It led to all of that. Had the cops had just looked at those videos that night and done their investigation and tested that weed, they have a sample of the weed. My son risked his life to get that sample of weed out. They admitted they got the sample of weed in the post, and they never tested it to see if it did indeed have the opioids in it. They even have the text message and the phone number of the people that he took me to get the weed from, who told me this weed was going to be special. Even the paramedics, when I got taken away, looked at my evidence and heard my story, and he said, yeah, you've been spiked. If those paramedics have the chest cam thing, it'll be on there, us having that conversation. And he looked at it and he goes, yeah, you've definitely been spiked, or something like that, which is why I kept demanding they do a blood test. And then that's when it came back with cocaine and opioids. And I have always, I've been smoking weed since I was 11. It's not something that I do all day, every day. I can't afford it. I wish I could, but I can't, and it's not legal here. It's not something that I can just be guaranteed to have access to, and I don't want to get into trouble. I'm just trying to keep a low profile. I would get the medical marijuana stuff, but I refuse to let anyone near my medical records until my name is cleared. Hi. So, hello. Yeah, so what people don't understand is that my ex-husband was fully prepared to throw his own kids under the bus in order to save his own reputation because he realised I'd figured him out. He realised that, and then of course when Santaro eventually admitted that she was in a relationship with my husband, my ex-husband, and was defending him. You know, he's not the person they say he is. How does she know? She didn't live with him for over 20 years. I lived with him for 22 years. I've known him for 25 years. I think I know him a little bit better. But, you know, she's welcome to him. She can look after him when he's in prison. Because I've got evidence of him trying to gaslight and manipulate Thomas already. I keep telling them he keeps taking Thomas away and leaving Gabriel by himself. He always goes off with Thomas. It's because Thomas is the one that they know is easier to manipulate emotionally. And this is on record, and I keep saying it's they know Gabriel's harder to get to, so they're getting to Thomas first. And it's because he knew that if anyone watched those videos, if the truth got out, if they did their job, they would be realising that he was fully prepared to throw his kids under the bus as well, to save himself from being caught up in grooming gangs and the theft of intellectual property and all of that. And I don't regret. I do not hold my son responsible whatsoever. He felt guilty for a long time. He held himself responsible for me getting locked up, but I said it better me than him, because that would have been a whole different scene. He's a beautiful boy. He has a heart as big as his mother's, and he's learning to stand on his own 2 feet while realising that there are some people out there that take advantage of the water signs. And, you know, his twin is Cancer, and a Cancer isn't happy unless everyone else is happy. They like to please people, whatever they can do to keep people pleased and, you know, balanced and blah, where everything's fully illuminated. That's what they'll do. And, you know, when you're a water sign, that's the sign that people feed on because they think you're easy to manipulate, but they don't realise how deep the emotions of a water sign go. You know, water gets everywhere. Water is everywhere. It's in everything. If you deal with a water sign the wrong way, you end up with a tsunami. You end up with a flood. You end up with a water spout. You end up with hurricanes and that's what they're messing with him. And I'm just hoping that I can lead him out of it, get my boys to safety, because they don't deserve to be in that situation, because they're around probably the most insane, psychopathic, sociopathic, narcissistic retard who is convinced he is king, who is in a cult that pass their women and their men around like they're joints and think nothing of it, that it's okay to put that stuff around children. And I keep saying to the social services and that he's like designing sex toys and that in his office with them right there. They can walk into his room and it's right there. He doesn't hide it. And then they have to listen to me moaning and having arguments with him about the poop and sperm stains that I keep having to wash off the front and back of his boxes, and it's in front of my children, and I wasn't okay with it. He was bringing books about the occult into the house that were completely wrong. He was putting pictures up on the wall of satanic rituals. I say satanic, but devil worshipping rituals, and that it's all there. The evidence is all there. And he was okay with it, but I wasn't. And I kept trying to bring him up on it. Do you know he got an ear infection? His ears were sore. And I sprayed some holy water in his ears and it burnt him. He got so angry with me. 100% distilled pure water, holy water, and I sprayed it in his ears, and he got so angry with me. He Darvo. He abused me sexually, mentally, financially, everything but physically. He only hit me once, and it was like one of the last times I ever was intimate with him, because it was the only way he could do what he had to do to fit. And I knew then, like it was, he hit me so hard he snapped my tooth, and it ended up having to be pulled out. I get chronic ear infections now because of it, because he damaged the nerve. That's the only time he hit me, but it was to get off. And then I'd wake up in the middle of the night with him trying to do things and stuff, and the police said it was under investigation. It went from just being a normal police investigation to me getting my own detective, but that was 3 years ago, and I'm still waiting. I gave them the address in there of my witness, who I went to say, he keeps doing this, what should I do? And she gave me the advice. Nothing's been done. And all I'm trying to do is get my boys out of it, because I know what he's done. I know what he was doing. I knew what he was doing. But I will never ever let my boys take the responsibility or bear the brunt of anything that he did or anything that I allowed him to do, because I ignored so many red flags. I even left emails to myself where I knew exactly what he was up to, and I completely forgot. But see, he was drugging me, and we figured out he'd been drugging me for at least 18 months. I said to the police, I found videos that go back 18 months. But see, that was like 2-3 years ago. I have the letter, I've got the incident number, we'll be in touch. Nothing. 3 years ago. And he's sitting there poisoning my children. They come to my house and they soak up the vegetables and fruit in that like it's an IV. They were coming here and having the best sleeps of their life. They were laughing again. Thomas's skin cleared up. He was at peace. And then all of a sudden, because I was posting about this new beginning that we were building, and then all of a sudden, overnight, I became the demon. They stopped seeing me as the dragon and saw me as the demon. But I still don't blame them, because I know it's him, because no one knows him better than I do. And I actually feel sorry for Sumo Digital, because they paid out tens of thousands of pounds in lawyers' fees and HR meetings and compensation payoffs to victims of my ex's lies and deception, defending Chris. And then he went round telling everyone that the reason why they let him go is because they set the rape case up on him. That they said that the woman who claimed that he had raped her, Sumo had put her up to it. So they defended him for nothing, and he threw them under the bus as well. He doesn't care who he hurts. He just doesn't want to be less famous than me. When he saw the stuff I was writing, when he saw the stuff I was creating, he knew that if he didn't do something, he was never going to be as famous as me. But the thing is, it's not me that is going to get famous, it's the brand. It's my empire. It's everybody else that's going to get famous. That's not what I'm here for. I'm the one that is, I'm producing the honey for everybody else to feast on. You know, once I've got everything set up, I'm taking a step back, and I'm just going to do what I can do based around the limitations of my stomach from the effects of my torture. It's everybody else's playing field. And then I'll know that my boys are finally safe, and they'll finally be free to be whoever it is that they want to be, or whatever it is they want to be. They'll be in an environment, in a country that's going to nurture and encourage them to be whatever it is they want to be, regardless of what it is they want to be, or who it is that they're born to be. But I'm not going to stop until I get justice. The right person's going to hear my story, and the right person's going to help me get justice. And then I'll finally get my boys away, get our stuff away, get us away, and we can start again, have some fun and heal and eat good food and have adventures, and then put down roots, and then I can watch them grow. I can't wait to see what they grow into. That's my goal. Because it's a school for kids just like them. They've helped create it. They're going to be an inspiration to a lot of children that go there, whether my boys are a part of it or not. Everybody, including those children, are going to know what my boys and I sacrificed in order for these kids to have what they're going to have. You know, my boys sacrificed a lot of things too to help these kids in that, which is why I always said I would give them a cut of the money. I'm going to compensate my sister as well, because I found out that my ex had approached my sister to ask her for nudes, and she blocked him, but she said that she'd testify in court. She's got the conversation she had with our other sister about it. So, yeah, I don't want my boys ending up like their father. That's always been my biggest fear. I've said that from day one. Please don't end up like your father. So, it's funny, my son said there's only two things that I could do that would make him disappointed in me. The first one is if I was a thought. I had to say, what's a thought? And then he told me. And the second one is if I went back to his father. So, yeah. So he was fully prepared to throw my baby under the bus, but nothing he says or does is going to make me love them less. I love them more for how they've stuck together. They were smart enough to stick together. It's a testament to how well I raised my sons, because most children would have started fighting each other. But mine was smart enough to stick together and be each other's anchor. So I'm proud of them. It means that I did do a good job raising my boys. They knew exactly what to do to protect each other. And that's what I wanted when I got locked away. I said, have each other's backs. Always have each other's backs. Regardless of anything, have each other's backs. And it's exactly what they did. So I know I am a good mum. I'm never going to let anyone tell me I wasn't a good mum. I wasn't perfect. I made mistakes in the beginning. But when my baby came to me when he was 6 and said, I know what I want to be when I grow up, Mama. And I said, what? And he said, I want to be a surgeon, and then I can fix your stomach, and then you can come to the park with me and my little brother. And I knew then that if I didn't get off my ass and lose weight and sort myself out, I wasn't going to live long enough to see him be a doctor, let alone, So that was the wake up call I needed. And then that's when everything changed. So my boy saved my life. And now I'm trying to save his. And I'm the mum, and I will stop at nothing to save my children. Gabriel's holding, Gabriel's stronger emotionally, but it doesn't mean to say he's not mummy's little boy. He's my baby. We used to be so tight. He was like my shadow. So I'm looking forward, and I'm getting my story out there because it needs to be told, because I'm a mum trying to move heaven and earth to get my children out of hell. So I need everyone's support and prayers, because I know someone out there's going to hear me. I know someone out there's going to do the right thing and help me get justice, or decide that I finally deserve justice. And then my boys and I can get out of here, find a country to move to, get out of here, and begin to plant seeds of our own, see what it is we grow from it. So I'll speak to you later. Ka kite anō. Mwah.